Welcome everybody to today's webinar, Know Thyself, Self-Awareness as the Key to Emotional Intelligence and Leadership. My name is Kevin Aguan. I'll be your host for the day. Today's speaker is Dr. Sami Fahmy. Sami is a professional engineer with many years of experience. He's located currently in Alberta, Canada. Dr. Fahmy has lots of experience teaching project management at the university level. He's currently or has been recently teaching for NAIT, the Northern Alberta Institute of Technology, University of Calgary, and I believe University of Alberta as well, and perhaps other places outside of my memory. He's also a professional engineer. He's a civil engineer by training, and he's been working for many, many years, over 40 years of project management and practical experience, and has done lots of work for Procept. He is actually one of Procept's top instructors located in Western Canada. So I'd like to turn this over to Dr. Sami Fahmy to do the presentation, but we do have a couple logistical things I need to address first. So this is a webinar. The tool that we are using will allow you to click your raised hand icon. Looks like everybody's already found that. Great, thank you. Your lines are also on mute by default, so we don't hear dogs barking in the background and everything else. What I'm going to ask you to do is, as Dr. Fahmy goes through the presentation, if you have questions that you would like to ask, you can type them in the chat window or the questions window in your web interface. So if you're on for example, on a Windows machine, you would click that red arrow above your mute and unmute icon and raised hand icons in that strip. There's a little red arrow. It'll expand the panel, and then you'll see the chat and questions panels there where you can type in your questions. I would suggest you type them as you go so you don't forget them, and then later at the end of the presentation we will have time for questions, and I will read them out and Dr. Fahmy will respond. You will also have the opportunity to ask them verbally if you like, and I'll give you those instructions at the appropriate time at the end. So again, type your questions in the chat window so you don't forget them, and we will respond to them at the end of the presentation. This presentation is being recorded, so if your internet signal goes down or you're having problems technically, you will be able to access a recording of it later. For those of you listening to the recorded version of this, obviously you won't be able to interact live, but please, I'm sure you will enjoy the presentation. Now I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Fahmy. Sami, take it away.
Okay, thank you very much, Kevin. I appreciate the opportunity and welcome everyone. Today we're going to talk about a topic that is extremely important for your personal life as well as your business life, which is know thyself. I'm going to start actually with a statement that was done by Aristotle about 300 years before Christ. Knowing thyself is the beginning of all wisdom. Very powerful statement. And I want to follow it with a question. I don't need you to answer it, but I really want you to think about it. How do you really know yourself? Or let me rephrase it. How much do you truly know yourself? For example, are you aware of the way you talk, the way you listen? How do you make decisions? How do you interact with others? How do you think? What is or what are your biases? Those are very important questions that you need to think about, because really self-awareness or knowing yourself really can make you a very effective leader or project manager. It will help you make better decisions. It will actually help you also be a good communicator, and as such you will have good relationship. I just want you to think, and we're going to talk more about that. Okay, so how are you going to benefit from this session? the first thing you will be able to define what is self-awareness. You will be able to list at least 5 reasons why self-awareness is important for you and your team. You will be able to suggest some ideas and make your own improvement in self-awareness. I'm going to also talk a little bit about Johari window and how it will help you out, so you will be able to at least have a start with Johari window. And I'm going to give you some ideas later on, basically how to get to website and read more about it, because again, as you know, we only have basically 1 hour, and I'm going to cover maybe about 10 minutes Johari window. Finally, you will be able to improve your awareness considerably after just 1 hour. It needs a little bit more than an hour, of course, but it is a good start. So the goal basically is to help you become fully self-aware. It's not easy, but it's possible. But it needs a start. Very important. So how we're going to do that? We're going to go through some definitions, why self-awareness is important, how to improve Johari's window, and self-awareness skills. And of course, at the end, I will present you with a challenge. I'm going to talk about that when it comes, and hopefully the challenge will push you towards becoming more aware, more self focus. And we're going to have 2 polls, and we'll end up some questions. I'll try to have at least 5 minutes for those questions. So let's start with a definition. When I say self-awareness, what comes to mind when you hear that? Please share it with me in a chat box. What comes to mind when you hear the word self-awareness? Any suggestions? Okay, being psychoanalysis, okay. Oh, probably it is something new for you. So let me share with you my definition of basically self-awareness. The ability to honestly, please watch the words carefully, honestly identify and accurately monitor your thoughts, emotions, impulses, and reactions. In other words, are you in control of yourself? That is something that we need to develop. We're going to talk about that later on. Is most of us are really following our subconscious mind, and we do that without even realizing. So once you identify all those thoughts and emotions, you need to connect those emotions to reality. Are they true? And that's why it's important when you are in the journey of self-awareness is to basically try to have a mentor along the way with you. Then you can share with them or with him or with her your goals, your basically thoughts, emotions, and so on. Okay, so this is the definition. So let's move a little bit more into self-awareness test. I want to maybe I can send you, or I can send Kevin a very nice free actually self-awareness test site where there are 20 questions. You need to answer them, and obviously that will put you in the mood to start basically being aware of yourself and so on. Here are some questions. Some questions to basically test yourself to see, are you self-aware or not? Do you know your strengths? How about your weaknesses? Most of us know our strengths. Do you know your weaknesses? That's something very important. Are you in control of your distractions, or do the distractions control you? That is, again, something critically important. If you are sitting in the office, for example, I had my last job was the organization I was working on. I was basically working as a consultant, so I'm getting phone calls. So I try to basically collect 3 or 4 or 5 phone calls together, and then I can go back and respond to them. So I control my distractions rather than every time you get a phone call, you have to answer it, and so many of that. Another thing that is very important and relates to self-control is, do you know when you are on autopilot? Let me explain. Autopilot means you are actually following your subconscious. It's not a bad thing, but you need to be aware of what is going on. That is so critical and needs to be, of course, monitored and so on. The second, number 4, are you aware of your emotions? Are emotions controlling you, or are you controlling your emotions? What do you do with your emotions? How do you express your emotions? This is very important. When you are angry, how do you do that? Do you express it verbally or physically? You need to start monitoring yourself and being aware of all those things that impact on our behavior. What motivates you? As project manager, for example, or leaders, your job is to motivate others. But who motivates you? Maybe you are self-motivators. Maybe you motivate yourself. What motivates you from inside? What makes you feel great? You need to monitor those things. What pulls you down? Maybe you need to start monitoring. When that topic comes up, I feel terrible. When I meet that person, I feel great. When I do that, when you start, and this is the exercise I'm going to give you at the end of the presentation. So you really need to start monitoring yourself. What wears you down? You need to start being conscious of what are the things that impact on you. Number 9, do you have difficulty empathizing? Empathy is something that is missing from homes and offices. Empathy is basically putting yourself in other people's shoes, something that is missing in the office and at home. So something that you need to think about and practice, of course. The last one, what are your core values? The second question is, are you living your core values? I know a friend of mine, he stresses to me so many times how important the family for him, how important his kids for him, and so on. But guess what? He's working 18 hours a day. He comes home just to sleep. Is he living his values? That's something else. So those are just few questions to start you thinking about, are you aware of your self? Are you self-aware? So here's the first poll. Based on the definitions and the self-awareness test discussed, are you truly self-aware? So please just write down in the chat box. We didn't have time to have a separate poll. I didn't really send it. It's my mistake. So basically, write yes or no. Based on what we discussed. Okay, a bit yes and a bit no. Okay, that's good. Anybody else? We need to have some interactive discussion going back and forth. It's very simple. Just take a guess. Okay, let us see another one. Just another guess. What do you think the person? There are basically two types of people. Some people think they are actually fully or self-aware, and some people think that they are actually self-aware. So some people think that they are self-aware and the rest is truly self-aware. So what percentage would you think that people think they are self-aware? So I'm looking for what percentage of the population of the people that think they are truly self-aware. Anybody? I see some answers here. Basically, 70% of people think that they are basically self-aware, and also some comments regarding that, and the actual number of true people self-aware is much less. Let me give you
Excuse me, Sami, it's
Yes.
Kevin here. In the some people are entering in the questions window, not the chat window.
Oh,
And their answers are showing in the questions window. So we had a few people answer 25% as well.
oh, okay. Thank you. I'm sorry I did not see that. Okay, thanks very much, folks. That's much appreciated. Okay, according to research, 95% of the people, of the population, this research was done 7 years ago by Tasha, I can't remember her name, Enrich or something like that. She basically discovered that 95% of the people think that they are self-aware. And when she dug deeper in the rest of her research, she found the actual true people are 10 to 15%. So you're close. Now I want you to think about it. 95% of the people say, yes, we are self-aware, but the true number is 15. So somewhere 80% of us are lying to ourselves about ourselves. And I think that is pretty scary, folks. So we need to spend some time trying to rediscover ourselves. That's extremely important. So now I need you to talk to me. You can basically answer question here or a chat box. Why 10 to 15% of us are self-aware? Only 10 to 15%. Any ideas? Arrogance, okay. The chat box is in, actually it is in the same panel as your question box. But that's fine. You can answer it in the question. No problem. Karen. Deluded, yes, that's true. Over optimistic, that's very true too. That's very true. So here are the 4 main reasons people don't really know themselves, or they are not self-aware. I'm going to use that term. The first reason, it is hard to do. It is hard to do. Basically, it takes courage to start questioning yourself and questioning your behavior. It takes courage to hear the negative views about you, or asking people, tell me more about myself or my behavior. Sure. Some people don't want to basically know the ugly part of their self. What are their fears, the issues, the worries, and so on. That's number one. Blind spots. Most of us have blind spots. Blind spots is the areas where other people know about us and we don't know about ourselves. We're going to cover that in detail under Johari window, so we're going to leave that at that part. Again, as we said before, many of us are running, I would say 80% of the time. I did quite a bit of research in that area, an autopilot. Most of what you do in daily basis is focused on subconscious. Our subconscious is in control. And all of a sudden we're acting. I remember one day, I usually woke up at 6 o'clock. I am in the office by 7:30 or so. And I arrived in the office, and honestly, I did not remember anything. Again, I was on autopilot. Again, the autopilot is there to protect us as well. So it's not a bad thing, but we need to, of course, make sure that we are aware of what we are doing rather than doing it automatically. So that is very bad, and that's why we need to be in control of our behaviors. The last one, of course, we like to think positive things about ourselves. This is sort of feel good kind of effect. You are much happier when you think positive about yourself and so on. So most people focus on that part and they start ignoring the bad part. So that is basically what happened. So let's move on to self-awareness and emotional and social intelligence. Let me explain what emotion and social intelligence is first. Emotional and social intelligence is basically your ability to understand and manage your emotions. and the emotion of others. And of course, knowing what you are feeling at the moment. By the way, emotional and social intelligence, if you can, take some course in that, because it is really a key part of life success. And the foundation of emotional and social intelligence goes back to self-awareness, as you can see. So here is the definition from Daniel Kuhlman. He is a guru of emotional and social intelligence. I strongly recommend buying a book about that. There is actually social and emotional intelligence for project managers. Excellent book. So here's what basically Coleman said. Self-awareness is the ability to accurately perceive one's skill, knowledge, values, and responsibility. Think about that. Do you know your skills, your knowledge, your values, your responsibilities, and so on? This is what self-awareness is all about. Understanding why one thinks the way he thinks and why he acts the way he acts. This is self-awareness. And it is the center of self-management. You need to be self-aware in order to control yourself. Management means control. So self-awareness is the basis of self-management, is the basis of social awareness. You need to be aware of yourself and aware of the people around you. And of course, as you can see, all this leads to relationship management. Of course, our topic here is not emotional and social intelligence, but I strongly recommend that you find a course because it will change your life. I have actually a course, that one-day course on emotional intelligence, another course in social intelligence, and people tell me that they use it immediately. And that's the beauty of any course, if you can put it on apply it to your life immediately. Let's move on. So now my question to you is, what is the goal of self-awareness? Why are we basically so hyped about self-awareness, and we say it is so important, it will help us, and this and that? Why it is so important? Any suggestions? Excellent. Increase success for sure. And by the way, success in personal and business life. Excellent. Help others grow and help yourself grow. Very truly. That's very good. Collaborate better with others for sure. And that will show greatly in when we talk about Johari window. Excellent. So basically, the answer is one, self-acceptance. And that is the basis, of course, for self-respect and, of course, self-improvement and growth. Self-improvement and growth. So we need to work with self-awareness because it will lead us to accepting ourselves, because you need to accept yourself first before you start the improvement. And I'm gonna basically cover that in 15 minutes or so. So let's move on. So lack of self-awareness has a major impact on your growth potential. So in order for you to grow, you need to start focusing on getting to know yourself and to be honest about it. That's very important. And the only way that will keep you honest is having somebody working with you. So please remember that. Okay, self-awareness is important, of course, and here are some benefits. But let me give you a general benefit first. Self-awareness is basically the underlying foundation for all the skills that you need as a leader. And here is basically some. It is the greatest gift you can give to yourself. And guess what? It doesn't cost any money. It doesn't cost any money. It just needs to be a conscious effort. A conscious, focused effort focused on getting to know yourself better. And another gift, and that I teach communication, another gift that you can give to others is listening. Listening is a great gift that you can give to others. So listen well, this is a gift to others. Look after yourself and start getting to know yourself. That will be giving a gift to yourself. Once you get self-awareness right away, your self-esteem will improve, your self-acceptance and self-respect will go sky high. And of course, you need to respect yourself before you accept other or expect others to respect you. And of course, as we said at least 3 or 4 times, better self-control. Better self-control. You have more productivity and effective negotiation, good decision making, more effective leader, and all this adds to a better relationships with your stakeholders, with your family, with your boss, with your team, and so on. Let's now move on to Johari window model. It's an excellent tool to enhance your self-awareness. Let me just basically introduce it to you first. Johari window model actually is a technique or a model that helps you understand yourself in relation to your team and in relation to others. Okay, so Johari window basically model was two psychologists from US, Joseph Luft and Harry Ingman, in 1955. They did quite a bit of research about dynamics in teams, and they came up with this window with 4 panes. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So let us understand those panes first. And as I am explaining each pane, I want you to start thinking about yourself. Okay, and apply what I am talking about in your case. So let's start with basically pane number 1, open or free area. This is the area where you know about yourself and other people know about you as well. So let me give you an example to make it clear. For example, anything that you will include in your resume. Your knowledge, your experience, your working history, your degrees, anything that you know yourself and other people know about you. That is area number one. Now, area number two. Basically, this is the area where other people know about me that I don't know myself. Let me give you an example. I have a friend of mine that every time he talks, he covers his mouth. He didn't know that. And he has been doing this for years. When I brought to their attention, he said, "Do I do that?" Another person, for example, we went to a camp, and I end up basically staying in a group room or whatever, and the guy next to me snored like you wouldn't believe. It was music all night. I was not able to sleep. Next morning, I said, "Wow, thank you for the music." He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "You snore." He said, "No, I don't." What do you mean? Did you ever ask your wife? Oh, he said, "My wife says that I snore, but I don't." I said, "If your wife says you snore, 3 people were with you in the room says you snore, you must be snore." Anyway, so this is the area that people know about you, but you don't know yourself. Actually, I have another example that relate to myself. I used to go to China to teach in China, and this is 10 years ago now. And one uh, course, the people wrote that Dr. Sami repeat the important message more than twice, and there was 30 people, and most of them repeat the same thing. And it was an eye-opener for me. I honestly did not know that I do that. So in order to basically get to know the blind area, you need to start asking people, inviting people to tell you the truth. Very important to reduce that blind and get to know yourself. Get people to share with you what they know about you. That's quite important. Okay, number 3, hidden area. A hidden area is basically this, I call it protected area. This is the area for all of us. Each one of us has his own protected area. And there is nothing wrong with that. But there are lots of things that are protected that maybe don't need to be protected. For example, like having unhealthy childhood. This is something that maybe you don't want to share it with other people. Maybe you are afraid of heights. Maybe you don't like to take risk. Maybe the last two, it's important that you share that with your team. Then they know about you. Okay, so those are hidden areas. Like I actually know a lady. She owns actually a school, elementary school, private elementary school. She had cancer for 15 years and nobody knew about it. She had an operation, nobody knew about it. 2 days later after the operation, she was in the office just trying to cover up that she had an operation. Again, that's her choice. That's great. But there are certain things that you have hidden from your team that you should make it basically available to your team. Then you can work much more comfortable. We're going to talk about that in a minute. And the last area is the unknown area. I love Johari window. I used to teach Johari window in NATE, 1980, actually. Okay, so the last area is unknown area. Unknown area, this is the area where you actually don't know about it and other people or your team don't know about it. So it's basically hidden from both of you. Can you think of any areas that are hidden from you and other people? I'll tell you a story just to give you an indication. In my previous employment, I used to work with a company, and we have a basically Christmas party every year. This guy, I'll call him Doug, he plays basically a guitar, and we all sing along and so on. And one day, or one party, I told him, Doug, why don't you sing for us? He said, no, I'm not a singer. I said, I know you're not a singer, you're an engineer, but can you sing? Because I think you have a beautiful voice. So he said, oh, okay. So he started to sing, and everybody paid attention. Believe me, he has extremely good voice. And since then, every year he sings, and he made a career out of it. Again, he said, truly, I did not know. This is the first time I sing. And he plays. So that was a major discovery for himself and for us. So one suggestion for you is to basically focus on the unknown and be prepared to take risk. This is very important. So be prepared to rediscover yourself and find out what else. And that was an excellent example. What else can we do that maybe that we are not aware of? So you need to give yourself, take some risks, take some calculated risk to rediscover yourself. Okay, let's move on. I think I'm gonna speed up a little bit. So basically, there are quite a bit of benefits for Johari window. There is so many articles on Johari window, and I encourage you to explore it. It's the beauty about this is very simple and very straightforward, and I give you the basics. It will certainly improve your self-awareness, and it will help you rediscover yourself. It's a great tool for personal development. You start asking people, what did they do? And make sure that you ask the right people. Improve communication within the team, and of course, has mutual understanding. If everybody within the team will start increasing, let's go this next, this is the area, folks, that we want to really increase. You want to reduce the blind area by asking questions to other people, and hopefully they will give you an honest answer. You also want to reduce the hidden area. Whatever you have that you can disclose, do so, please. And all of a sudden, you'll find this smaller, and this smaller, and this will enlarge. And that is where the team productivity goes sky high. That is the key to working together as a team. And I do that with my team, or I used to do that with my team, and bring it. We spend half a day exploring, and then we talk about it, and we'll just try to see how can we increase that basically quarter to maximize it this way and this way. Very, very important. So the aim of any team is to always develop this open area for every person. And we can start working with the team and be honest in giving your feedback, and you be honest in sharing some of the hidden area with your team. Can you see what happened here? This area is so small. What does that mean? When you are working with a team, a new member join the team or an existing team, of course, I'm going to keep this area to minimum. I just don't know those people. So I will keep everything to myself. The hidden area will grow bigger, and the blind area will grow bigger, and the unknown area, of course, you know, they don't know you, you don't know them, and this grows up and so on. Again, this is normal, and you need to work on, of course, increasing this for sure. Okay, so basically our goal is to open up the free area by reducing the blind area and reducing the hidden area, so we can work as a team. They know a lot about my strengths and weaknesses, and this is your goal as a leader, to discover the weaknesses and support the weaknesses. They know about my fears, they know about my risks, and so on, so they can support me. The whole idea is working as a team is to make sure this is as large as possible. And of course, you'll obviously know that as the team start to continue working together, this region or this area will enlarge, and once it's enlarged, the trust will develop. Jointly taking risk will improve. The cooperation will improve. It's a great tool for rediscovering yourself and discovering also your team members. It's a great tool. I encourage you to basically work on it and spend some time. Maybe it will take 3 or 4 hours to read it, understand it. And I put my name, phone number at the very beginning. If you want to go to basically, I put welcome, my name, phone number, and my email. So if you have any questions, please feel free to give me a call. This is one of my sort of enjoyment rather than work. Okay, any questions so far? Please write it down, then you will not forget it, okay? Finally, I'm going to give you some hints for improving your self-awareness based on what we basically discussed in Johari window. The first one is keep an open mind. Okay? Try to accept other people's feedback. Look at Doug. When Doug accepted my idea of singing, he rediscovered himself. He actually was, you know, he sang for 10 years after that, and then he went his way and I went my way, and it was great. So keep an open mind, and of course that is a sign of a great leader. Make sure that you ask trusted friends for their opinion, so you can reduce that basically area that you don't know about yourself. Be mindful of your strengths and weaknesses. Quite an important skill that you need to work on. Stay focused on whatever you do, because that will help you, of course, accomplish your goal, and make sure that you also set some boundaries. What do I mean by boundaries? As a leader that know yourself and being aware of your skills, make sure that you have boundaries in place. Of course, make sure that you are warm and supportive and caring about your team, but in the same time, be serious and keep your boundaries. In case you want to say no, say no. Don't say yes and you mean no. That's very, very important. So make sure that you put your boundaries in place and respect it. Very, very important. Number 6, know your emotional triggers. What gets you upset? And how do you react? Do you respond or react? And of course, the difference is reacting is following your basically subconscious mind. Response means taking the time to think and consider the consequences before you make a decision or take an action. Quite a difference between the two. Embrace your intuition. Usually, most successful leaders basically follow their instincts. They take some associated risk with it, and of course, it is based on your past experience. Although we say it's instinct, but it is basically supported by your previous experience. Number 8, get regular feedback at work and at home, and do it. Asking for feedback and not doing what is given to you, as long as, of course, is applicable and realistic, I think is very important. You thank the people for it, and of course, do it. Make sure you have a plan for improvement. We're going to talk about that in a minute. So here is the challenge for you. I want to end basically the presentation with a challenge, a daily journey of self-discovery. That is my goal, okay? Simply because here is another definition for self-awareness, a mechanism that helps us bring our habits into alignment with our goal. If your habit doesn't align with your goal, you need to change it. You need to know what's your goal, and you need to find habits to support that. And how are we going to do that? 2 things. It should not take more than 10 to 15 minutes a day. 3 things that you need to go through. One is your growth, and basically discuss what did I grow, and I'm going to explain that in a minute. Here it is. Keep track of your daily growth. What did you learn today? Obviously, you learn something new every day. Who did you meet with? Can they help you in your career? Can they help you in any way? What did you produce in a daily basis? What's critical work that you do that you should be proud of? And of course, what skills or concept did you learn today? This is the first part. Number two, keep track of basically your feeling on a daily basis. Make sure you write them down. Make sure you keep record of the positive and the negative feeling. Write down when did that happen, with whom, why it happened, where it happened. This is very important because you need to focus on what makes you happy, and you need to get away from the negative stuff. Very important. The third area, on a daily basis, please remember, track your reactions. We talked about snap reactions. The boss talked to you about something and you blew up. You know, think about it. Somebody give you something that you didn't like, you start getting angry. So you need to monitor that and write them down. You do that basically on a daily basis. Now, on a weekly basis, two things: pick an area that you need improvement. And the matter of fact, I can tell you my story with self-awareness is when I read the research on self-awareness, I discovered that I am quite self-aware, but I discovered 17 areas. And this is what I'm suggesting to you here, is basically pick one area every week and focus on it. It can be anything really that needs to be improved. Maybe your listening skills. Maybe I don't listen. Maybe I don't emphasize. Maybe I react rather than respond. There's so many things, it's all individual. So pick an area. Last one is put a plan together to improve it, and make sure that you have a mentor to help you out with it. Very, very important. So let me very quickly summarize. To enhance your growth potential, you need to focus on self-awareness. That's it for the lecturing part or the session part. Now it's open. You have 5 minutes left, open for questions.
Thank you very much, Sami. It was very, very educational. I learned a lot. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Okay, everybody, now's the time to enter your questions into the chat window or the questions window if you're using that. And those are in your web interface. While we're waiting for people to enter questions in, we do want to mention that this is the one in a regular series of webinars that we do throughout the year, roughly every 2 weeks. Wherever you heard about this webinar, keep your eyes open. You'll find notices to sign up on other upcoming webinars. Okay, there is a question in the window. I'm not sure if you addressed it already, but it was from a little bit earlier. Karen asks, you mentioned to have someone work with you on self-awareness. Are you suggesting that people work with a coach or mentor?
Yes, of course. It is one actually of strong suggestions that you keep a mentor along the way in your journey to self-discovery, and start with her or with him, discuss with them your goal, and discuss with them your discoveries in a weekly basis or maybe bi-weekly, and tell them, here is what I want to improve, here is the plan, and I would like you to monitor me. Again, maybe my kids were the best one to do that for me. I remember I did that many years ago. I talked to them about improvement and so on. Guys, watch me if I'm not listening, or watch me if I jump in. And they are great. And again, I used to give them $1 when they are young too, and they catch me, and they actually do it until now. So yes, please have somebody to work with you, and when you promise somebody that you're going to do something, usually you will do it.
Very good.
Good question.
Shala asks, is it possible to become too self-aware to the point where it cripples you from moving forward?
Good question. Uh, most of I did quite a bit of work in this area. Most of the people they don't get so much self-aware, but the challenge that will cripple you is basically when you start discovering the ugly facts about you. Uh, People will give you the truth, and that is very important. And I love that personally. When I'm giving presentation, people say, "Oh, great, this is done," and all this stuff. I say, guys, I appreciate what you're doing, but I want constructive criticism. Give me something that I can improve. That is the area that most people shy away from. And again, it depends on the personality, of course. Did I answer your question, Sheila? I
don't see a response yet.
Okay.
There's another question here. With so many jobs continuing remotely, what are helpful ways to maintain self-awareness while conducting virtual meetings?
Okay. Again, getting feedback. Again, going back to Toastmaster. Toastmaster encourage having a coach with you. So talk to one person that knows presentation and strong in that area, and let him watch you. And like I used to do that at university all the time, all the new profs coming in. So I go and attend with them, and I give them very, very critical area, but I need to get their permission that I will be critical. I will be critical. So yes, please find somebody that is experienced in your line of work and let him watch you and ask for feedback. And that's the best way that you can become self-aware.
Excellent. Thank you very much. We're out of time, but there were several questions that came in about mindfulness. So maybe you could just briefly answer, how does this self-awareness relate to the concepts of mindfulness that are so popular right now?
Okay. Let us go back to the definition of mindfulness. The definition of mindfulness is basically focusing on what you are actually doing right now without basically ignoring the environment. Okay, so it distracts you from all the stresses by focusing on what you're doing. Like I remember I attended 2-day course. I'm not specialist in this, so I may not give you the full answer, but I attended 2-day course on mindfulness, and the lady basically said that if you are eating an apple, focus on that apple. Explore more, taste the color, not only the actual taste, taste the color, taste the feeling. So focus on what you're doing, and that is basically the mindfulness. And how does mindfulness relate to self-awareness? Is again, focus on one area and get people to help you focus on that area, and then you will improve and you will become self-aware.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. We are out of time, unfortunately. Thank you for your time, everybody. This was a great session. We will be recording this or editing this video and throwing it up on YouTube so you can watch it again later or share the link with your friends. So keep an eye out for it. Within a couple days, it'll be up online. And keep your eye out for our next webinar in this series. We have them throughout the year. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much, Sami. I really learned a lot. Bye for now.
Thank you. Take care.